You're watching Chattahoochee Connections with Bob Jeswald, powered by Kia Autosport. This segment is brought to you by St. Francis-Emory Healthcare.
This week is very special because we're making you aware. Stroke Awareness Month begins right here at St. Francis-Emory Healthcare, and I'm joined by two wonderful people. In particular here, we got Dr. Ramsha, and Dr. Ramsha Butta is here in the house, and Mr. Jim Cook, who had a stroke recently. And this is a little reunion for you guys. This is not contrived. This is not like set up, although we had to set the shot today, but this is truly a time of reunion from the last time you had a stroke. We're going to get to that story in just a moment, but as a hospitalist, you know, Dr. Ramsha, you are actually exclusive to this hospital. You stay indoors here. You're here, and especially for Stroke Awareness Month, you know it's so important that you treat anybody coming into this hospital. You're hyper-focused on our patients coming in.
Yes, that's correct. So all the patients who come in with a stroke here are seen immediately by an ER physician and a neurologist like me, and we have a dedicated stroke team here.
And this dedicated stroke team includes you, which is important. We're going to hear about Jim's story too, because Jim had that stroke team available for him he's our local security that works here in the hospital itself. And I know, Jim, I could see it. It's, at times you can't help it. It's emotional. I could see it in his eyes here. But I also could see that what you do here in the hospital is so critical in our community. Explain why that is.
So we treat a lot of neurological conditions, but stroke is one of the emergent conditions that we treat, and it's actually treatable now. So if people come in with signs and symptoms of stroke, we can treat them immediately in the hospital, provide them with care, because every second counts when it comes to stroke.
And that means a lot, and every second does count. You hear a lot about heart attacks. We don't really consider, stroke. That's one of the leading causes it is one of the leading heart diseases that are out there, along with stroke, heart conditions, and those could sometimes be fatal if they're not treated, but so easy to treat. So, St. Francis-Emory Healthcare has the knowledge. We're equipped for it, and that day we were truly equipped for Jim Cook, who was in the ER, and I could just set it up here this way. Could you imagine a combative patient? Jim, you're armed, I assume. Sir. You have control of this patient just in case they get loosed, God forbid. In your case, now you become, I want to say like the victim, but you become a patient.
Yes, sir.
Just like that, but couldn't be at the right place at the right time.
I couldn't have been at a better place. I was actually dealing with a combative patient at the time, and the left side of my body just started doing its own thing. And I had already called for backup just in case, and they just kind of swarmed on me. They knew what was happening. I didn't really know what was happening. I just knew something was wrong. And the TPA, which is the clot busting medicine, they got within my system within 8 minutes. And that is critically important. And I could not have had if you're going to have it, you might as well have it in the ER.
Dr. Ramshaw said it, seconds count.
Absolutely.
And it counted with you.
Absolutely.
You were at the right place. What happens if somebody gets brought into the hospital like Jim? We've got to make sure they get treated just as fast. Jim took probably seconds, minutes. You're on a gurney. What happened after that, Jim? I mean, what's going through your head?
I can't remember a lot of it. I remember bits and pieces, but when I get a little emotional, when I see what these people do every single day, and I'm kind of a backstage part of it, but all of a sudden I am the focus, and when I come back from it, it's a totally different perspective. I've always respected what they do when I help them do it in my own way, but when it's me that's the patient and I see what they do and how much they care, it is absolutely amazing. I was taken to ICU. I spent about 2.5 days in ICU, and went home, and actually that was October 17th, and I just came back to work last Tuesday. I've been at work 5 days, so I was out about 6.5 months.
And now, and today we were here with Dr. Ramsha, and Dr. Ramsha Butta, you know that people watching at home right now, just like Jim Cook, I know you've seen everything, see the emotion in his eyes, you want to save lives. What do people need to do to get a free screening? Isn't it okay to do that? And this is the month of May, Stroke Awareness Month. What do they need to do?
Yeah, they can go to our website to get the stroke risk assessment, to see what their stroke risks are, what they need to look at. and also to look at signs and symptoms of stroke that they should recognize on time. If anyone they do recognize with signs and symptoms, they should call 911 immediately so that they can come to a primary stroke center like St. Francis immediately and get appropriate care.
Well, thank you so much. Jim, I mean, it's a blessing you're here.
It is.
We're thankful. And thank you to St. Francis-Emory Healthcare. And to you at home, get checked. This is the month of May. Don't put it off today or any other time.
This segment was brought to you by St. Francis-Emory Healthcare. You're watching Chattahoochee Connections with Bob Jeswald, powered by Kia Autosport.